and welcome to another great episode of Q&Egg. This week I'm here with Paul and Kyle, and I'm Jenny, in case you didn't know that already. Let's get started. So our first question comes from Chris Fick, and he writes in, "Hello, can you please explain the difference between the MX red, blue, and brown that Corsair uses on their keyboards?" And before I toss this to one of the guys real quick, I'm just going to say that Cherry MX is actually the brand of switch. And if it says Cherry MX on the keyboard, the switch, no matter if it's Corsair, Cooler Master, or whatever, is going to be the same unless they're using one of their own proprietary switches. And then that'll usually also be indicated on the packaging.
Yes.
So Kyle, why don't you enlighten us about some switches here?
Sure, I'll tell you whatever I know about mechanical switches. We have this little sampler here from CM Storm, from Cooler Master. One of their PMs gave it to us, or one of their representatives. And it's pretty cool. We've got blue, brown, red here on the top, and then we've got green, clear, and black on the bottom. All right, so the way I've come to understand it is that these three on the bottom are basically heavier resistant forms of the ones on top. So green is a heavier resistant key than blue is, and so forth. And aside from that, you can also organize them by columns. So this first column right here has both the clicky noise and the actuation bump, which you can feel about halfway down before you actually bottom out the key. The middle column here actually only has the bump. It doesn't have the clicky noise, so you'll notice it's a lot quieter when you press it down. And the last column here, red and black, have neither. So depending on what your preference is, based on how you like your keys to sound and how you like them to feel, pretty much just try them all out and see which one's best for you.
All right, in the second half of the question, I'm going to toss to Paul. In your opinion, does choosing a blue or brown switch affect gaming?
I would say not necessarily. There's some people who would say that because when you're pressing a mechanical key switch, the keystroke actually registers earlier than with a rubber dome keyboard. Rubber dome keyboards you have to push down all the way. So there is theoretically a couple microseconds or whatever of difference between when the keystroke actually registers, but it's really very minimal. So in my personal opinion, I think it's more just a matter of taste. Whether you prefer the feel of the mechanical keyboards or rubber domes, whether you have the money to spend on a mechanical keyboard versus rubber domes.
Well, usually mechanical switches will last a lot longer than a rubber dome.
Yes, mechanical
keyboard.
Switches are very, very, very much more sturdy than rubber dome keyboards.
All right, so our next question comes from Xavien Chattman, who asks, would you rather only speak in haiku or only speak in song lyrics? And Xavien, I think I'm just a small town girl living in a lonely world. I took the midnight train going anywhere.
You know, a long time ago, me and my brother Kyle here, he was hitchhiking down a long and lonesome road. And all of a sudden, there shined a shiny demon in the middle of the road. And he said, "Play the best song in the world, or I'll eat your soul." Me and Kyle, we looked at each other. We each said, "Okay."
You know, every morning, cat claws awaken. Time to feed.
I think that clears that right up. Okay, so next question comes from Johnathan Wanger. Johnathan Wanger.
Careful with that one.
I apologize for the, mispronunciation of your last name. Hey Newegg, who's the bigger troll, Kyle or Paul? It seems as though there is a trolling Cold War going on between them. It's not cold, it's hot. It's here every day. You can cut through it like a knife.
Yeah,
or with a knife.
We're always trying to one-up each other in the trolling wars.
Yeah, you could see it that way. But I also see it kind of like a collab effort. You know, like when I got my days off trolling, it's like a tag team. Like I tag you in, you tag me out, and we kind of cover each other.
Yeah, it's really nice to have somebody there to pick up the slack, when you're not really feeling up to trolling at your best.
That's right.
Okay.
We trolls have our off days, believe it or not.
No, they don't.
Exactly.
All right, and the last question is kind of a serious one, and also it is the new recipient of our Q&A Question of the Week winner. Every week we are going to start selecting a question from our Gmail that gets sent in that we feel is the best question we've received that week, and they will be receiving some swag. So this comes from Luke Walsh. It says, at school people bully me because I'm a nerd geek and that I prefer schoolwork instead of sports. Do you guys have any advice for me to get by in my high school years? And the reason I picked this question of the week is because I was a bullied kid, so I really feel like this one really hit home for me and certainly for a lot of other members on our team. And my piece of advice is to make your plan for what you want your life to look like outside of high school, because high school ends, and it ends very quickly. And there's a whole world out there that you get to go experience. So make your plan for what you want to happen after high school, because it'll be over faster than you think.
And then one day you'll be the boss of your bullies. Or he'll be like going up to you as you're like some CEO of some awesome company that you started, and be like, please give me a job. And what I would say is hire him. So that way you can fire him later when he needs the money the most.
And I can't sympathize as much with the bullying thing. I was fortunate enough I didn't have to deal with too much of that growing up, but I would say that when you look at the people who focus on sports, especially if you're looking at going into it as a career, and this is not to say there's anything terribly wrong with sports, but the chances of you making it in sports as a professional athlete, as a long-term career, are minuscule compared to the benefits you will get from focusing on stuff like technology and learning more about the world around you in order to make yourself a better person, again, for the life after high school, because like Jenny already said, it's over in an instant. And looking back on it, I can tell you, as somebody who can look back on high school many, many, many years ago, you get a feeling like, wow, it seemed so vital then, it seemed so important then, but now I can sort of see it was a growing time, it was a learning time. You deal with hardships, you deal with successes, but in the end, you move past it, you get on with your life, and it's not as big of a deal as a lot of people make it out to be. And
Luke, we're going to be helping you get through it and get past it with a big box of swag. So check your email. We're going to be sending you some contact information.
Nice.
And I guess that wraps up this week's episode of Q&Egg. Please keep sending your questions in to qandegg@gmail.com. And thank you, Kyle and Paul, for joining me this week.
Thanks, Jenny.
Yep.
Until next time, if you've enjoyed this video or liked it, please hit subscribe, and also subscribe to our other various YouTube channels. And until next time, thank you for watching Newegg TV.
So long.
Bye.